Between 1986 and 1991, 10 women were murdered in and around Hwaseong, Gyeonggi Province, South Korea. The victims ranged in age from 13 to 71. They were found in rice fields, on rural pathways, and along isolated country roads, all within a relatively small radius of each other. This movie is based on a true-life events. T's 1986. A small farming town in South Korea. A boy reaches for a dragonfly in a golden rice field, and then a body turns up in a drainage pipe. That's how it starts, quietly, almost peacefully, until it isn't. Detective Park Do-mon is the first on the scene. He's not exactly what you'd call a professional. No gloves, no procedure. He rides in on the back of a tractor, lights a cigarette next to the corpse, and tilts his head sideways, almost like he's trying to match the dead woman's gaze. Her name is Park Bo-hee. Young, naked, lying in the dark hollow of a pipe like she's simply asleep. But she is not. Before any evidence can be secured, local kids are already trampling the scene. A passing tractor crushes the only footprint. The forensics team arrives late, and immediately trips over the same muddy bank that the chief already fell on. This is the state of rural Korean law enforcement in 1986. And somewhere out there, a killer already knows it. Then a second body appears. Same county, same method. Hands bound with a torn blouse. Neck strangled, multiple times, with multiple objects. This wasn't random. This was deliberate and practiced. Detective Park has a theory. He stares at faces until guilt reveals itself to him. His eyes, he says, cannot be deceived. But what happens when the killer has no face yet, and the clock has already started ticking? Detective Park Do-mon has a suspect. A young man named Baek Gwang-ho, who has a disfigured face caused by old burn scars, slow in speech, known to follow one of the victims through the fields. In Park's mind, the face alone is enough. Guilty faces look guilty, so he's sure of it. What follows in that basement interrogation room is not justice. It's desperation dressed up as instinct. Park's partner, Jo Yong-gu, kicks the suspect until the screams echo off the pipes. Then he pulls on padded shoe covers, so the bruises won't show. Gwang-ho nods, shakes his head, cries, but he never confesses to this crime. Then a stranger walks in from Seoul. His name is Detective Seo Tae-yoon. He is everything Detective Park is not: quiet, methodical, and suit pressed clean. He doesn't read faces, he reads files, and when Park mistakes him for a suspect and beats him half bloody on a rural roadside, Seo doesn't even raise his voice. He pulls out his badge and says, "So a stone is standing holding up a rock." Two men, same crime, opposite approaches. And a killer who has already struck twice with no witnesses, no clear evidence, and no reason to stop. The town is starting to feel it. Women walk faster after dark. The fog on those country roads feels different now, heavier. And somewhere in a stack of mishandled evidence and trampled footprints, the truth is still out there buried. But Seo Tae-yoon didn't come all this way to go home empty-handed. A pattern is emerging, and it's worse than anyone expected. Every victim is a woman, every attack happens on a rainy night, and every time it happens a specific song plays on the local radio request program just before the murder. The same song, requested anonymously, like a signal that only the killer understands. Seo Tae-yoon is the one who notices it first. He lines up the dates, cross-references the broadcasts. The evidence is thin but it points somewhere terrifying. This killer isn't acting on impulse. He's scheduling. Park doesn't want to believe it. His instincts keep pulling him back toward Gwang-ho, toward faces he can read. But the bodies keep appearing, and Gwang-ho has been sitting in that basement the whole time. Then comes the night that changes everything. A young female factory worker is found dead, bound, strangled, left in the same signature way. And this time, there was a witness. Someone saw a man near the scene, someone who didn't look like a lowlife or ordinary person. The investigation fractures. Park doubles down on gut feeling and coerced confessions. Seo demands restraint and evidence. Yong-gu's boots keep doing the talking in the basement. And the town, the real town, with real women walking home after dark keeps waiting for someone to get it right. The rain is coming again. The radio is already playing, and nobody knows who calls in that request. A new suspect surfaces, who is a man with a violent past, strange habits, and no alibi on the nights of that matter. Park looks at his face and feels it. That certainty, the same electric conviction he's carried through every wrong arrest, every coerced confession, every trampled piece of evidence. This time, he swears, it's real. Seo isn't so sure. But even he is starting to crack. The pressure is crushing him. The case has dragged on for years now. More women are dead. More dead ends. And Seoul keeps sending memos asking why a string of murders in a quiet farming province hasn't been solved by 2 detectives and an entire local force. Then Seo does something that surprises everyone, including himself. He sends the suspect's DNA to the FBI in America. It's 1986 in rural South Korea. This is not a normal move. It's an act of pure desperation wrapped in procedure. The results will take weeks. In the meantime, Park goes further than he ever has before. Pushed to the edge of everything, exhaustion, shame, rage, he corners the suspect alone. No partner, no backup, no protocol, just a man who has watched too many women die and has run out of patience for the truth taking its time. He raises his gun, and in that moment, the line between detective and criminal becomes very, very thin. The DNA results are coming, but so is a choice that cannot be taken back. The results arrive, and they are devastating because the DNA does not match. Park lowers the gun. The suspect walks away into the dark. No arrest was made, no confession, no closure. Just a man disappearing down a road in the rain, while years of investigation collapse into silence behind him. The case is never solved. The real murders in Hwaseong went unsolved for over 3 decades, 10 victims, 0 convictions, and a wound that never fully closed over an entire generation. Detective Seo Tae-yoon returns to Seoul, changed, quieter. The files go into a drawer somewhere. Park Do-mon leaves the force entirely. He becomes an ordinary man living an ordinary life, until years later, something pulls him back to that first rice field. That drainpipe. That boy reaching for a dragonfly on a golden afternoon before everything went wrong. A young girl asks him why he's staring at the ground and he tells her a terrible thing happened here, a long time ago. She says someone else came recently and stared at the same spot. She describes him. Park goes very still. In 2019, advances in forensic DNA technology finally cracked the case open. Investigators matched DNA recovered from a 1994 crime scene to a man named Lee Chun-jae, born in 1963. At the time of his identification, Lee was already imprisoned, serving a life sentence for the 1994 rape and murder of his own sister-in-law, a separate crime committed after the Hwaseong killings had stopped. When confronted, Lee Chun-jae confessed. He admitted to all 10 Hwaseong murders and claimed to have committed additional sexual assaults beyond those officially linked to him. He showed investigators locations. He described details. The confession was extensive. However, because the statute of limitations on the Hwaseong murders had already expired in 2006, he could not be charged or tried for those 10 killings. He remains in prison solely for the 1994 murder, and the crime that ultimately led investigators back to him.